Hi, this is Average Sound coming at you with another video about what I've read this week. And what I read this week, of course, I'm continuing on with the Fable condition. With the Fable stories for a little while. So, of course, I'm reading Fables number 3, Storybook Love, published by Vertigo. So it's my favorite, one of my favorite series. And let's just dig in with the story. Dig in at least the characters of the story. So the story, characters, story, character is King Cole. You got King Cole, he's the mayor of Fabletown. You got Briar Rose, she's Sleeping Beauty. You got Snow White from the Seven Dwarfs fame, and she's the deputy mayor of Fabletown. She's also Prince Charming's first wife. And you got Boy Blue, who's Snow White's assistant. You got Bluebeard, who's the rich guy, and he's not evil. You got Prince Charming, who is the gambler, also ladies' man. He married Snow White, she's the first ex. Married Sleeping Beauty, that's the second ex. And married Cinderella, that's his third ex. And he's also broke. Rose Red is Snow White's sister, also the new admin at the farm. You got Big Wee Wolf, who's the sheriff of the farm. He's also the Big Red Wolf from Red Riding Hood and the Three Little Pigs. Jack Horner, who is from Jack and the Beanstalk, is Rose Red's ex. He's also a huge scammer. He can't see any repercussions of his actions. And also Flycatcher, he's the Frog Prince. He's always in like violation and all that stuff, always in probation because he just is addicted to the taste of flies. Also, yeah, you guys can probably see my laptop is right there. Alright, so we start the story with Jack during the Civil War, during the American Civil War. Now, he's involved with it. He wants to join the war because women like him in uniform. He just wants the uniform. He joins the war. He's in the Louisiana Volunteers, so he's in the South. Which, South ain't doing so great. And Jack doesn't want to fight. He wants to go AWOL, so he lies about a dying mother. And the guy's like, whatever, you just don't want to fight. So he goes AWOL. And he goes roaming around the forest for a little while. So I found a black man just playing cards all by himself, middle of the forest. His name is Old Nick. So he decides to play Old Nick. Of course, he's a gambler. Old Nick's like, hey, you want to gamble something? You want to bet something? Jack's like, okay, but you got nothing to bet. And Nick's like, I always have something to bet. But Jack loses almost everything anyway. And then Old Nick's like, you want to bet some more? Or you want to play one more hand? Jack's like, okay. But if I win, I get all my stuff back. And Old Nick's like, oh, you'll get your stuff back. You also get this sack. You win this last hand. So, and then of course, Jack cheats. Jack wins. He wins all this stuff back. He wins his magical sack. Has unlimited space. Unlimited. And all he has to do is say, clickety clack, get in my sack. So, he wins. And then he goes to this seemingly abandoned house with all these farm animals running amok. So, of course, he catches all the chickens. And he's like, clickety clack, get in my sack. And all the chickens just fly in. But it's only seemingly abandoned because there's this bedridden girl in it called Sally Cornwallis. And Sally Cornwallis is bedridden. Um, she's going to die in a few hours. Jake's like, okay, then have sex with me if you're going to die in a few hours. She's like, no, I want to maintain my dignity. And Jake's like, if I be able to prevent you from dying in a few hours, will you have sex with me? And she's like, sure. So he waits there for a few hours until the Grim Reaper comes. And when the Grim Reaper comes, he's like, clickety clack, get in my sack. And the Grim Reaper is now in the sack, preventing Sally from dying. Now, Sally and Jack, they do it. When the deed is done, so then Sally says like, sorry, my back was itchy. I don't know why I'm saying sorry. But yeah, as Sally went out to kill some farm animals for Jack to make for breakfast. Tries to kill some, and she can't. And that's not from lack of trying, because there's a whole bunch of like pigs and all that stuff just running around with no heads on, like there's no tomorrow. Of course, she calls Jack down, and then a whole bunch of corpses and bodies just like shot. The Civil War just come up and come to the house, and it's just like, Jack, why would you do this, Jack? Of course, Jack then realizes what he has to do. So then he goes to the sack, he lets the Grim Reaper out. And he's just like, oh man, the Grim Reaper's just gonna kill me. And he's just like, no, that was actually great. I never get a day off. So if you promise to put me in this sack every, once every year, and you'll be fine. And he's like, oh, okay, well, what about Sally? He's just like, oh, give her another year. So he does that, and of course, Sally runs away with a traveling wine salesman. A few days later, Jack loses the sack. The end of the story. Now, what was that story about? The story was probably about Jack not seeing the repercussions for his actions, not catching death, realizing nothing will die because of it. But on to chapter 2, a sharp operation, which shows Briar Rose whenever she picks herself. She has the curse on her whenever she pricks herself, or whatever. She falls asleep and she lets out gas that so everyone else in the vicinity fall asleep. And also, over time, vines will start growing around the building. So this happens at Tiffany's in New York. That's a jewelry shop. So of course, Bigby Wolf, the big sheriff, is questioning her about it because Fables aren't supposed to expose themselves to the powers in front of the Mondays, which are the humans. Now, Bigby suggests that she just remove all sharp objects from her apartment and she wears thick gloves. But there's another Monday who asks for Blakely Wolf by name. Now, who is that Monday? He is Tommy Sharp. He writes for the Sharp Comments for the Daily News. So, he's Tommy Sharp is writing a revealing report on Fabletown. He believes they all are vampires. He watched Wakely Wolf transform one night in a Central Park. Bigby Wolf didn't want to kill him, but those days are gone. He doesn't want to kill him because he believes that no one will read it after what they've done. You know. But they might have to erase the story anyway. So Bigby Wolf, Bluebeard, Boy Blue, Boy Rose, Jack and Prince Charming go to his apartment building. Of course, with Jack being the most technologically advanced in the whole group, because he pulled a lot of schemes, including a .com scheme back in the day. So, but also while he's doing that, Bluebeard does train Jack to kill, just in case if anything goes wrong. So they all go to Tommy Sharp's apartment. Prince Charming realizes that Briar Rose is rich, so he slips out of the apartment to get the invitations, the RSVPs for the wedding or whatever. But Briar Rose, she gets in, she pricks herself so everyone falls asleep. Fables wait for like an hour because they don't want to fall under that spell. And then they destroy all the evidence Dummy Sharp has against Fabletown. Of course, they discover he has all the files backed up. So then that goes to chapter 3. It's dirty business. Now, Bluebeard's acting all crazy, all just like, oh, we gotta kill Tommy now. You're supposed to stay in the lobby, be back up just in case, but of course, and now Bigby starts questioning Bluebeard, Bluebeard starts questioning Bigby, Bluebeard's questioning Bigby for his leadership skills and everything. Of course, Bigby just gets angry, but he shows he can stand for himself. Then they just leave the building. And they're just like, we destroyed the physical evidence. Maybe that'll be enough. Hopefully they can get out before the Mondays wake up. Yeah, Bluebeard is sad, and he actually wants Bigby Wolf to be killed along with Tommy Sharp. Anyway, before that, they're starting to wake up Briar Rose. Briar Rose can only be woken up by true love's first kiss. Prince Charming, of course, thinks that's him. He kisses Briar Rose. She doesn't wake up. So everyone's just like freaking out. It's just like, oh, is she actually dead or something? And the Flycatcher's just like, well, maybe I will try. And he kisses her. And she wakes up and she's all disgusted, like, But yeah. Of course, they brought Tommy Sharp with them. And he's still not dead. But he does believe that they are vampires. So, in that sense, what Bigby Wolf does is he meets with them at the visitor cell or whatever, holding cell. And then what he does is he bites Tommy Sharp. Not hard. But he's just like, yeah, I bit you, so now we can track you and do what we want. If that story is published anywhere and we get wind of it, you're dead. you know, they also have fabricated evidence that Tommy Sharp sexually harassed a young boy. They get a Pinocchio in it, who and if the story ever gets released, so do those photos. So, and if Tommy Sharp doesn't release the story, then the photos don't get released. Of course, Prince Charming is trying to smooth it over with by a rose. And of course, because he has a fancy apartment, she's rich. She won more of the lotteries when coming back from the homeland, so of course he has riches. But yeah, she came to Fabletown poor, but she won lotteries. Prince Charming, of course, living with her now. Or everyone's just like, how'd she wake up in Tiffany's if the Fables aren't there, if the humans and the Mondays were asleep? In fact, that police dog. But yeah. And then the chapter ends with Bluebeard finally killing Tommy Sharp. Chapter 4 is The Mouse Police Never Sleep. Snow White has been crippled ever since Goldilocks shot her at the farm. So Bigby has always been around her, kind of babying her. But if Snow White can walk 3 times, or she can walk up and down 3 times Bullfinch Street with no help, Bigby will leave her alone. Does she do it? I don't know. But Bluebeard starts fencing at Prince Charming and Sword School. And I kind of duel him or whatever. And there's mice on the espionage mission. Sergeant Wilfred, Colonel Rex, Lilliputian. They're just gathering information for someone. And Monday and mice too. And they're at Bluebeard's right now. So, Bluebeard wins the fencing duel, which is completely safe. The points of the swords are softened and all that, and they're wearing protective gear. Yeah. And it turns out that Hobbs, Bluebeard's servant, that's his name. I did not know that. But the mouse police do get caught. Colonel Rex does die. And there is a plan to get rid of Snow White and Bigby Wolf. First, they need to get rid of them before they kill them. So get them to go away and kill them. So Bluebeard puts them under a trance, tells them to go on vacation together. So then we go to chapter 5, Into the Woods. It turns out, Bigby Wolf and Snow White have been camping together. 3 or 4 days later, they snap out of it. It turns out Snow White has a rental car, and Bigby Wolf cannot drive. In Fabletown, of course, Prince Charming wants to interrogate all the mice. So Monday mice. Bluebeard wants to do the interrogation, but St. Cole wants Prince Charming to do it because he handled all the sentencing at the farm. Of course, Bluebeard storms off. Prince Charming goes to Bluebeard's apartment, discovers that Bluebeard has a secret room. Meanwhile, Snow and Bigby, they get a flat tire from driving, lose control, and they crash. Now, Snow and Bigby, they're fine. Snow helps Bigby pop back his shoulder, but her car gets shot at. So Bigby transforms into wolf form and goes to figure out the shooter. Turns out, from the scent, Goldilocks was shooting at them. Goldilocks had been in Fabletown all along. She's been with Bluebeard, and they've been concocting this plan to kill Bigby and Snow White. And because of doing that, Bigby then agreed to let her escape to wherever she wanted to go. And yeah, so Goldilocks was the shooter. And Snow White thinks that her and Bigby slept together under the trance. Bigby says no. And that leads to Chapter 6, The Duel. Now, Bigby Wolf checked the scent. That's why he smokes to listen to the scent. Otherwise, he cannot stand living in New York. But he let actually Snow White live in the first days of escaping the homeland. He let her live because her scent was beautiful. And yeah, in Fabletown, Prince Charming turns over a new leaf. At least tries to. And it's like, hey, maybe I should be a good guy. Everyone thinks this Bluebeard guy is evil. Let's kill him. So, it just makes things easier. Bluebeard, of course, wants to kill Bigby and Snow. Everyone knows Bigby Wolf loves Snow White. Snow White secretly loves Bigby Wolf. Secretly. They know that Goldilocks is chasing them. Meanwhile, in Fabletown, Buffkin runs everything now because Boy Blue is nowhere to be seen at that moment. So he calls Fabletown Buffkin Town. But meanwhile, Bluebeard's apartment, Prince Charming is dueling Bluebeard. Bluebeard is losing, so he offers Prince Charming all the wishes he can handle if he just lets Bluebeard live. Of course, Prince Charming refuses. Actually, pretty shockingly, but he does. Meanwhile, over at Bigby and Snow White, Goldilocks is shooting at them, but Bigby in soul form does this big breath, this huff and puff. I don't know why he did that. But he basically just breathes really hard, and then knocks Goldilocks down, gives him enough time to escape. He wants to create. It's really weird. He wants to create an easier path for Goldilocks to find them. He wants to set up a trap, actually. That leads us to Chapter 7, which was called Roadrunner and Coyote Ugly. Goldilocks ends up shooting Bigby Wolf in the shoulder or the leg or something. But it only really knocks him out because she hasn't used any silver bullets or anything. Only has 33-78 Weatherby hitting rounds. But of course, it's like, you know what? I don't have to use silver bullets. I can spread new body now. So he wants to do that. But Snow White, of course, defending Bigby, puts the next in her head. Deep in her head. Like Goldilocks is still alive. So Snow White, so with the crowbar, Goldilocks is still alive. Goldilocks then falls down a cliff. Goldilocks is still alive. Goldilocks gets hit by a truck. I assume she's still alive. Stands in a puddle face down. She drowns. She's finally dead. But Prince Charming, he's killed Bluebeard. He also, he dumps Bluebeard's body in a witching well. It's just something you can never return from. King Cole is of course mad at Prince Charming for killing Bluebeard because he's one of the biggest donators to Fabletown. But Prince Charming's just like, well, now that Bluebeard is dead, we can divide the riches that he has to Fabletown. Yeah, he was never going to do that, so. But, Snow White, after Goldilocks is dead and everything gets back together, Snow White is kind of into the idea of Bigby and her having a relationship. But Prince Charming takes Bluebeard's estate, including a house, and he wants to rule Fabletown. So rule all of it, so he actually goes into an election. I mean, there's never been an election in Fabletown, so he's all first to do it. And then it turns out the last page or whatever, turns out Snow White is pregnant with Bigby Wolf's baby. Well, it's not the last page. No, it's the last page of the chapter. Then it goes to chapter 7, Barleycorn Bribes. It says that Eddie Underfoot, who is a little person, tries to steal Barleycorn in Fabletown office. Called by Buffkin. Eddie Bird, message Bird in. As I got off with a warning, Flycatcher asked him, why does he get off with a warning? And Fly's here, always get charged with the minor offenses and stuff. And Bigby explains the tradition of getting the barleycorn from them. He explains, it's the first Lilliput expedition of liberation force with Captain Wondershanks sank due to a giant, or just a regular person. They're all little people, so anybody is a giant. Giants revealed that a group he's with is looking for little people. The giants is with the adversary. It's during the homelands. It's all back in the homelands, back a while ago. But the Lilliput force is only made up of men. And they all escaped through a portal to where it's now known as the farm. They created a subsection of the farm called the Small Town. Now, again, they're all males, no females. Of course, not until Thumbelina came along, but then she was the only female. So, the Good Witch actually made barleycorn, but left it back in the homelands. So then this dude named Johnny Bullhorn, he he's a little person. He decides to go and retrieve it. Now barleycorn grows girls, grows females. So, and he goes with a bird named Arrow. And years pass, when they go out and get it, everyone believes that they failed. They haven't. They've just been obstructed. They make it to the good witch's old house, but the barleycorn has already been taken by the adversary. All that's left is a mustard pot, a mustard jar, and a bug crawling inside it called Mustard Pot Pete. And he tells Johnny and Arrow that it's been taken by the adversary a long, long time ago. Probably taken in some of their towers. So, and he also joins them, and he adventures with them. They find the barleycorn, but it's protected by a bear. Doesn't want to eat them. Like he just wants to go to Fabletown. So, Johnny, Arrow, Pete, and the bear, they all return. And the bear, he decides to go to Fabletown. And he buys a glamour and goes by Mr. Gondor's in Fabletown. Now, Johnny, his name gets celebrated and becomes Johnny Barleycorn. Barleycorn, grows females. And now once they had enough, the Fabletown office, like Bigby and Snow White, they took the barleycorn to kind of keep the population of a small town at a minimum something. But ever since then, males from the family to celebrate what Johnny did to help a small town to get the barleycorn. Now, every year, a male from one of the families of the little towns go, and from the small towns they go and they try to steal the barleycorn. So, and since Bigby knows the tradition, he just goes and cuts them and sends them back on their way with no repercussion. And that's the end of Storybook Love. It's a good comic, a good plot twist, because I kind of expected Goldilocks to be the evil again. But I didn't expect it to be so soon. I didn't expect Bluebeard to be killed. So, but it's kind of fun. Have you read Fables Storybook Love? And if you did, what do you think about it? I thought it was great. It's just a series that keeps getting better and better, I think. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. There's also my social media where you can talk with me and stuff. And that's my Instagram at TRIPL3XXX Mayhem. My Twitter's at Real Average Sean. My Facebook is at Official Average Sean. So just let me know what you think of Fables Volume 3 Storybook Love. Comments below. And I will see you tomorrow with movies. Bye bye.